Hello and welcome everyone. I'll get you checked in. Hope you had a great day and you're in for some nice relaxation here. Just kind of ending the week and starting a new one together. See some new names, new faces. Pun not intended there. You don't have to show your face if you don't want to. But nice to virtually meet if we haven't met in person. My name's Emily. Get everyone squared away here. So we do stream this class to our members Facebook page, but they don't see you. Oops, there we go. So you shouldn't have to worry about anything. I'll just get it set up here in just a second. And again, it's only to our MyBo members page, so not to like my personal page or anything like that. Tonight we're going to be taking a nice yin-inspired practice, focusing on the heart chakra, kind of opening up. It's been a heavy week for sure, so we'll take this time just to kind of ground down, prepare for a new week. Hopefully with not much going on, hopefully. All right, if you are all set to go, just come to a comfortable seated position or laying down on your back. Just start to invite yourself into the practice with your breath. Option to close down your eyes, place your hands however you'd like them. Start to breathe a little bit deeper. Allow your exhales to be longer than your inhales. Beautiful job. Take a couple more just like this. No counts. Not telling the breath or the body what to do, just inviting it into your space wherever you are, coming as you are. Take one more breath just like this. And one more exhale. Now, wherever you are, if you're in a seated position, Start to bring your hands behind your back, clasping the palms together. If you are on your back laying down, just bring your hands open to the side like a very low W position. We're going to begin to add movement to our breath, just mirroring what our breath does, the length of the inhale and exhale. So as you inhale, bring your hands overhead or over top of your chest, depending on your position. Palms come to touch. Exhale, open wide. Now if your hands are behind your back, with your inhale, bring them forward, palms come to touch. Exhale, press the space around, bring them behind the back. Inhale, bring them forward. And exhale, reverse that motion. So whichever position you're in, just finding a natural flow that takes the length of each part of the breath. Continue on just like this. The goal of this motion is to elongate the breath, using this motion to really even out the breath and keep the inhales and exhales from becoming too shallow or too quick. Wherever you are, take 5 more sets here. Beautiful, Charlotte. Making that motion nice and even. As you exhale, pressing yourself open like you're breaking your heart open. Really making yourself into that vulnerable position, but knowing that the breath is there to guide you, to protect you. Take 2 more here. And after your last one, hands come to heart center, eyes can stay closed. As we've warmed up the heart space, we now begin our practice with one Om of your choice. It can be a breath Om, it can be an Om in the mind, just listening, or it can be an audible Om. One clearing breath before we start. Inhale. Exhale all your air. Inhale for Om. Hold in this space, feeling the vibrations you've created, feeling the beauty of the life force inside of you. One more breath, just for you. One exhale. Beautiful opening practice. Flutter open your eyes. Hands can come by your sides. We're going to begin in a melting heart position, which is also known as a puppy pose. So if you know where you're going, go ahead and get there. If not, you come into a tabletop position. Wrists are right underneath of your shoulders. Knees are right underneath of your hips. And the key here is to walk your hands out in front of you, but to keep your knees and your hips stacked exactly where they are. So you start to walk your hands out just slightly, start to melt your heart down. Nice job. It'll be a nice opening through the shoulders. Eventually, the goal is for the chest to touch the earth, but if you're not there right now, that is okay. Heart melting onto the earth. Beautiful hip position. That's Perfect. Keep it right there. You'll feel a gentle stretch in the low back. Now bring back your breath if it has left. Make it a part of this pose. Allow your exhales to bring your chest closer to the earth, to let the heart melt even more. If the neck and the back of the head start to strain just a little bit as you fall deeper, it's okay to turn one cheek to the mat and then to turn the other just to even it out. We've got 10 more breaths in this pose. So maybe you take 5 one way and 5 the other if that works for you. I love this posture as a way to start because it's such a nice reminder to just breathe into the stretch and let go. The heart is like the command center for all the organs in the body. It does so much, and that's what it's meant to do. It really can never do less, right? That's just what it does. In traditional Chinese medicine, the heart is called the emperor. So here it's almost like we bow to the emperor, to that life force inside that does so much work. We begin our practice tonight honoring that force inside of us. Perhaps you have a few breaths left here. Make them nice and deep, reminding yourself to melt. If you feel any pain, always come back. And as you finish your last breath, you can start to walk your hands up to find that tabletop position once more. And then bring the knees into touch. So we're in knee position. Pose, untuck and go flat on the mat. Torso starts to walk down as hips go back to a narrow knee child's pose. So your forehead will be touching the mat. Arms sweep backwards behind you if that feels good. Beautiful. Yes, placing all the weight into the tailbone as if there was a magnet pulling you backwards. Now, if you feel too rounded in the upper body and your tailbone is nowhere near your heels, you can always bring your hands out in front and use the force through your fingertips to press your hips backwards. A little bit more of an active stretch. Beautiful job. We're here not as long, just 6 full breaths. A nice counter pose to our melting heart that we began with. Pressing the hips back, allowing the low back to curve the opposite way that it normally does. We usually have a slight arch in the low back, and in this pose we're taking out that arch and experiencing what it's like to have a slight curve the other way. about halfway through, taking 3 more breaths here. If your shoulders have become earrings, allow them to melt down the back, especially if your hands are out front. Great change there. After your last breath and your last exhale, start to walk yourself up. We're going to come on to our knees. We're going to take a brief intro into a camel pose. So I know camel is usually at the end of our practice, but we're going to come back to it a few times here, just for that nice chest opening. So coming onto the knees, again, they're about hip width distance apart. Toes behind you are tucked for some stability. You're just going to start to bring your hands behind your back, open, nice for a chest opener here. Beautiful job. Now gently start to transition your hands until where you would have back pockets, keeping that same nice opening through the chest, but a nice straight spine, as if there was a string coming through the top of your head. Take one inhale to lengthen the spine, and an exhale to walk back slightly. Maybe your hands come to the back of your quads. Just feeling that nice opening, and then come on back up, reset the spine. Kind of like some cat-cows, but from an upright position here. We're going to take 3 more just like that. You go at your own pace and see if you can get a little deeper each time. So I'm going to inhale, lengthen my spine, and exhale, walk my hands down. I stay for 1 breath. I'll then start to walk myself up. If I need my heels, and just take a nice round through the upper back. That is always an option. Come back when you're ready. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And then exhale, start to walk yourself down just a little bit more this time. Stay for 1 breath. And then walk yourself up. Take any reset as you need. And then find your last set. Inhale, lengthen up. And exhale, walk yourself back. Maybe you find your heels this time. Deepest expression of your camel. And then start to walk yourself back up. Come to sit on your heels, untuck the toes. Just stay here for 3 breaths. Just reset the mind, reset anything that has built up coming from that pose. It's a lot of work to open the heart. We don't want to do it. So it's that much more challenging. Physically and mentally, our body is meant to protect that. So opening that space can be really difficult and not something we do all the time. Last exhale, let it go. Come on back up. We're going to come onto our backs. So just scoot yourself so that you can sit down on one side. Knees come out in front and just gently start to roll yourself all the way down. We're going to come into a few rounds of bridge here. Now, if you know right away that bridge is not going to feel good for you this evening, you can always grab a pillow, lift your hips, place it underneath, and just take all of this through a restorative bridge. If you'd like to come through some bridge poses together, toes and heels are on the mat, just right in front of where the fingertips are, almost as if you could touch the heels. Hands are flat on the earth. We're going to inhale, rise our hips high to the sky. Hold at your highest point for one breath. And then exhale, lower the hips down to the earth. Now the goal is to keep this as fluid as possible. So we're going to continue on. Inhale, exhale up, inhale, exhale down. Mirroring that with the breath. Inhale, exhale up, inhale, stay, and exhale down. Now a couple, just one breath, one movement. Inhale as you rise up, exhale as you lower. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower down. Keep your knees right over top of your ankles, in line, I should say. Inhale up. Exhale down. Now last one, inhale up and hold at the top. Bring your hands underneath of your tailbone, clasping together. Rock just a little bit side to side to really open through the shoulders and the chest. Feel that great, great stretch. We hold here for 5, 3, 2, 1. Release your hands first and then lower your hips down to the mat. Bring the knees into the chest. Just rock gently side to side, releasing the low back. Nice job. Nice job. Beautiful work. Take a couple more rocks side to side, eventually rocking yourself forward and backwards until you're up on your sit bones again. We're going to come facing each other in a cross-legged position, or whichever position feels best to you, if that's legs out in front or anything like that. We're going to inhale, bring our arms out to a T. Exhale, spin over to one side. Inhale back through center, and exhale other side. This is just a brief warm-up for what comes next. A brief kind of windmill here with the arms. Inhaling to come back to center. Exhale over to one side. So throughout all of this, our torso is facing front. We're going to invite a twist in just a moment. Take one more on each side. Beautiful. Now hold over to one side. Doesn't matter which side, but the back fingers are going to touch the earth if they can. We're going to twist open so that your torso is facing to the side, kind of facing to that knee or 90 degrees. An option in this position, if you would like to find a really big chest opener, bring the other arm behind your back, find a half bind. If this starts to heat up too much in the spine, you can always release that, let it go. You could even find overhead if you would like, finding some length through that shoulder. We're here for 3, 2, and 1. Come back through center. Now in this cross-legged position, arms rise overhead, and exhale, just send it forward. Find a nice glute stretch. Continue to breathe in this lowest point. Beautiful job. Allowing the spine to relax and release here. Take 3 more breaths. And then come on up whenever you are ready. We're going to find the other side, gently warming up that spine again. We're going to twist either side, so arms come out to a T. Inhale in this neutral position, and then exhale over to one side. Inhale, and then exhale. If it feels good to twist with your torso, do that. If it feels better to keep your arms, or to keep your torso rather, facing front, you'll feel a little bit more stretch in the shoulders, whatever works for you. If you want to hold over to one side, maybe grabbing one knee. I love that option. That looks wonderful. You know exactly what your body needs, and go ahead and take that. Whenever you are ready, come to find the other side that you didn't find before, and then find your variation of the stretch here. So back fingers are placed on the mat. Upper arm may come back behind your back for a half bind. Maybe it reaches overhead. Maybe you bring your hand to the knee just to help you twist through the torso. Goal is to find a nice deep stretch in the opposite shoulder. Last little layer, maybe you let your head and neck turn, find even more through the neck. That feels so good. Stay here for 3 more breaths. And when you are ready, come back out how you came into it. Rock back gently just to switch your legs if you're in a cross-legged position. We're going to find that same reset but with the opposite leg in front, targeting the other glute this time. Stay here for 3 more breaths. Using the weight of your fingers, that contact point with the earth, if you need to press a little bit further back in the hips, you can find a little bit more stretch that way. If you need to back it off, just let go. After your last breath, come on back up. We're going to transition to a little bit of a standing series here. But if you would like to take this laying down, there are options for that as well. So know your body best. We're going to come up into a standing position by rolling through a forward fold. So bring your toes underneath of you. Start in a low crouch, just feeling that rebirth of this pose. When you are ready, drop your heels onto the earth. Rise your hips high to the sky. Maybe pedal out your knees. And then when you are ready, roll up one vertebra at a time until you come into a beautiful standing mountain pose. Now again, if you'd like to take this laying down, all you need to do is come into a Shavasana position with your hands out by your sides. You'll be creating the exact same position we are. Now toes come together, just a tiny space between the heels, or your feet can be 6 inches apart. We're going to inhale, rise our arms overhead, and we're going to find a gentle flow through some half moons standing. So exhale over to one side. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale over to the other side. Inhale back through center. Continue on just like this, finding yourself a little deeper each time, but keeping your torso in between 2 panes of glass. So if you feel yourself tipping forward, that's not what we want right here. We want to keep ourselves just between two panes of glass. Now, if you're laying down, what you're going to do is find what we call Bananasana, banana, asana, shape of a banana. So you're laying down, you bring your hands over to one side, maybe one crosses on top of the other, and then bring your feet to that same side as well, just creating this shape. You're going to stay there and hold. If you're in this fluid half moon here, bring your shoulders, or rather bring your elbows behind your ears so that the arms aren't coming out in front. Everything is one straight line. Take one more on each side. And then we're going to hold over to one side. Doesn't matter which side. Come down and hold. Now we want to be in a deep position, but not so deep that we're shaking or can't hold this position for about 15 seconds. And then once you are here, the arm that is on the side you are leaning towards. So for example, I'm leaning to my right, my left arm is going to come all the way behind the back into a half bind position. So the torso should stay where it is. I know this feels a little strange perhaps. You can always come back if you need. But the goal here is to open up the chest. Take one more breath here. And then exhale, come back through center. You can drop the hands a little bit, maybe rock side to side. Just kind of release that a little bit. Nice job. All right, coming back through center, arms come overhead. Maybe cross the opposite hand in front this time. Take a couple rounds through each side again. Breath and movement aligning together. One more on each side, just kind of warming up. Allow shoulders to melt down your back. And then hold onto the other side. So again, you can just stay in this half moon hold here, about 15 seconds. You can bring the other arm behind your back. Top arm is just reminding you to continue to fall over to that side. You really could let it go as well if you'd like, but I like to keep this here to remind me to keep leaning over. Stay here for 2 breaths. And your last exhale, come on back up through the center. One final chest opener, arms sweep behind the back as if we were tired. We weren't tired of chest openers by now. We get another one here. How much of our day do we spend hunched over a computer, a desk, a device? This is just a small part to undo that. One more breath. And one more exhale. Beautiful job. We're going to take a few nice clearing breaths through the spine. So inhale, rise your arms up overhead. Exhale, big forward fold, just like the beginning of a sun salutation. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, fold. Keep going at your own pace. We're just ridding the body here of any built-up tension before we return to the mat. You're doing great work. Keep going, keep going. Even if the mind starts to wander, bring yourself back to the breath. Take 2 more all the way through here. Once you are finished, hands come down by your sides, just in a beautiful mountain pose where we started. Eyes can stay closed if you'd like. Goal here of the mountain pose. This is a chest opener, believe it or not. It's a pose to stimulate the heart chakra. Feel your heart beating in your chest, opening yourself to the new day ahead, the new week ahead, new possibilities. A day that you've never seen before. Take one more breath here just for you. And one exhale. Nice job. Flutter open your eyes. We're going to gently come down onto the mat. We're going to come into a reclined twist, but you have options here. So if you have a pillow or a bolster and you'd like to use it, I'll show you how to do that. If you want to just take a normal reclined twist, coming down onto your back, no props, that is also welcome. So if you're going with no props, you're just going to lay all the way down onto your back. You're going to pull your knees into your chest and then rock over to one side. Gaze shifts over. We know that pretty well by now, even if we're not familiar in yoga. Now, if you'd like to use a pillow, we enter from a seated position. There's a little bit of transition here. We stay in the vibes as long as we can. So, if you're coming into it with a pillow, you just sit up onto one side. One hip bone goes right up to one edge of the pillow. Knees can be bent, they can be out long, whatever works for you. But then you can shift yourself over and then lay your torso on the pillow. Arms can be long out in front, they can be by your sides. You can also have forehead on the pillow or one cheek to the pillow turning to the opposite side. Whatever works for you. We'll be here for a little while, so you do have time. If you need to adjust and find something that works better for your body, you have time to do so. But for right now, let's settle into the position that we've chosen and really start to let go. With every exhale, can you relax one more muscle in the body? One more part of the body that we might not even realize is tense. Can we use that exhale to let it go? So in yin practice, the yin is the restorative, well, not really restorative, but the calmer practice. And yang is a more active practice. So in Chinese medicine, they're paired together. So the heart chakra is paired with its yang partner of the small intestine. So that's why we're doing this twist here to stimulate the small intestine. You may feel a little bit of activity there. That's okay. Hopefully no one is around to care. And even if they are, who cares? You're doing something good for your body. We stay on this side for 5 more breaths. Let them be nice and full. It is believed that stimulating this small intestine helps energy move to the heart, feelings of peace, love, contentment. So if you feel really comfortable and at home, in a reclined twist or a twist on a bolster or pillow, you're not alone. I got you. I'm right there with you. If you've ever found yourself sleeping in this position, maybe it's not a mystery anymore. Maybe the mystery is just how you got there. Honoring the stillness that you've created in your body. After your last breath, make sure that you come out of this pose very slowly. If you are laying on your back, just take a brief reset in a restorative bridge position with your hips on the earth. If you are twisted onto your bolster, option is to twist yourself so that your back is right up onto the bolster and come down briefly into a heart opening pose. Knees can be bent, they can extend out long. If you're laying on your back, option as well to open your arms just like this pose. For my non-bolster friends. Just a brief reset here, allowing the spine to return to its natural position. Take one more breath. And one more exhale. Use your hands to gently press yourself all the way back up. And then we're going to come into side two. So I like to leave my pillow where it is and just shift myself around. So if you're coming into that position, just bring the opposite hip point up onto the bolster. Twist your torso and come on down. If you're finding a reclined twist without the prop, just let your knees fall to the opposite side. Gaze shifts over. We love to find two areas, or two sides of the body, I should say, that are totally different. So welcome that here. If you notice that one side feels different than the other, that's great knowledge to save, to acknowledge, to know. As we're coming down our practice here, you may get a little cold. Option to bring a blanket over top. But do exit and enter slowly if you have to do that. Stay in the moment, stay with your breath. Nothing lasts forever, it's temporary. So we enjoy these moments, this moment that you have all to yourself. Take 5 more breaths on this side. Make them nice and big and full. Again, using the breath to actively release any muscles that are tense. We try to use the mind to do that all day, but in this practice, let's use the breath. That audible, physical force. On this side, allow feelings of forgiveness, warmth, and clarity of thought. Those feelings that this energy helps to stimulate. After your last breath, take your time, gently bring yourself all the way back up. We're going to come into that same heart opening position one more time, and this time we're going to stay just a little bit longer, taking our final chest opener, our heart breaking open to the sky. Do what you need to fully melt into this pose. If the shoulders are tight and they aren't really, again, allow that breath to travel right there. let them open. I find that letting my legs go long really helps to just invite the whole body to relax. We'll be here together in silence for a few moments. Stay in this space. If distractions start to come, make the breath louder, so it's the loudest thing you can hear. Remind the tailbone to tuck under and down. Take 3 more breaths here. And then at your own pace, after your last breath, start to transition to your final resting pose. It may be exactly where you are right here. Maybe you get rid of the pillow or the bolster and you just lay all the way flat on the mat. Beautiful. Finding that full release here. Now the most difficult part of our practice, perhaps, but yet the most purposeful part of our practice. This is why we do the asana. It's just a means to tire out the body, to let go of all the distractions so that we can be here and now in this full relaxation. Challenge yourself to let go of any distractions you still have, knowing that time will pass, the class will end, your time will be back. So take these few minutes here just for you.
How wonderful and strange it is. memories of a human race, deciding who will hold a race in the game, desire to play God. Thoughtful hearts will guide the world. Health will
Your
not
heart,
be
the emperor inside,
control.
does a whole lot for you
Trusting
every
the
moment of your life. It's doing so much right now. And the way that we can give back and thank it for all of its work and treat it well is in moments like these, where we turn inward and we notice maybe far more than we notice as we run through our busy lives. Take notice, take stock of your spirit, of your whole being here. Not just how the physical body feels, but how the spiritual sense inside of you, the spiritual body feels. Know what you need. Take what you need and give yourself grace, rest, and space.
Last one standing here, before willing heart but inside is a change of the heart.
If you notice yourself wanting to fidget or come out of this position,
Maybe it's in here.
stay just a little bit longer.
Chaos means to live.
Remember that feeling you had when you were a child, if we can remember,
Casting out
where unknown was exciting and everything was new, and we anticipated nothing. Take yourself back there just for a few minutes. Let go of the anticipation. Surrender to this moment. Take 5 final breaths in this resting pose, giving yourself the love that you need, the love that you know you deserve. Inhaling all the air you can. Exhale, send love to the heart space. Loving your own body, loving your mind, loving your spirit. For one moment in our busy lives, not hoping for more or wanting for something different, just loving where we are right here. After your final breath, gently start to invite some movement back into your body. Maybe rolling through wrists and through ankles. Maybe rocking knees over to one side. Maybe you find yourself resting on one side. And then gently, very slowly pressing yourself up to a seated position. Eyes can stay closed. Hands come onto the knees, on the tops of your knees, palms facing down or up, whichever you'd like. We take a few breaths as one collective unit here, acknowledging this space that we shared, even if it wasn't physical. It's still just as real. Take one more breath. Deep exhale. Hands come to heart center. We're going to end with an echoing Om. I won't be able to hear it. None of us will be able to hear it, but we'll know that it's happening. We're each going to Om 5 times. I'll start, but try not to Om at the same time as me, so our Oms overlap just slightly. We're sending this into the universe, even if we can't hear it exactly. And one day we'll do this in person, and it'll be so wonderful. Inhale, clearing breath. Exhale all your air. Inhale. I definitely felt it. We bow to each other. Hands or thumbs come to the third eye chakra. I bow to you. Thank you for sharing your time with us this evening. I know it was a slower practice. Thank you for your patience. We'll mix it up. You know, one week will be a little faster, a little slower. But thank you so much for being here and sharing your light with us. Namaste.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.